on both, so we can cut this in if you want to do the Buttigieg question.
Okay.
So, question to the youngest African American mayor ever. There is a young mayor right now who's running for office.
Wait, Pete's not young.
He's youngish in comparison to the septuagenarians.
He's
that are running.
old-ish. He's only young in age.
Okay. What do you think about the fact that folks are saying if he were black, if he were a woman, his qualifications right now, he would not be on the presidential stage?
You know, I don't know him. I happen to have met all of the presidential candidates except Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg and Tom Steyer. And the reality is, if I'm traveling in the vein of senatorial conduct, I'm withholding judgment. But I can tell you that I do not see that a person, a black man or a woman, a person marginalized to the position of being perceived as a minority, would have the longitude and latitude to have access to the donor base, the media base. There was a black man who was a mayor in Florida who was running for the presidency early on in this primary process, who got no attention from national media. And there's nothing that has stood out about Mr. Buttigieg's record or upbringing that distinguishes him in a way that justifies his promotion. And so, of course, I think it is a function of the perceived notion of supremacy when it comes to, I'll tell you that I have a connection to the community, the GB part of the community. You decide which part you think. But the reality of it is, I know for a fact that we exist separate from the mainstream world in which Mr. Buttigieg travels and is able to amass a following and a concerted effort to suggest that he is somehow qualified based on his experience at a largely monogamous community without really adjudicating or addressing the plight of minorities or blacks, which we need to move away from that minority.
Yes.
Blacks amongst in his constituency. But it is characteristic of these political corporations, party corporations, to do so. A lot of space is being wasted. A lot of airtime is being wasted. Imagine if just half of those people on the stage were people who were black, who could speak to the real plight of folks in Watts, the real plight of folks in Baltimore, the real plight of folks in the Black Belt, the real plight of folks.
I mean, we had one, Cory Booker, and much like Kamala Harris and much like Julian Castro, ran out of money. So I think that at the basis of it all, money in politics really is the root of all evil.
Well, I saw in his last debate, when challenged about meeting with billionaires in a cave for a fundraiser, Mr. Buttigieg said that that only represents some small percentage of the people
that he's getting money from.
But the reality of it is, here I am, noteworthy as the youngest black mayor in the United States. I don't have a dossier of billionaires that I can call upon to say, look, we got, my small donor base is handling the majority of this, because you all give me some padding, a safety net to make sure that if they fall short, I have what I need. That's a reality that only he exists in. And so it's troubling to even try to normalize it on the basis, well, it's only some of the money that we got.
Because the fact that you even have that access is part of the problem. That's good.